Moon Letter, Astrological Podcast.
The Cusps Between the Signs by Ben Belinsky. Some people are born when the sun is on the edge between two signs, and they're not sure which to identify with. For example, if you're born between the 19th and the 23rd of January, and you're not sure if you're an Aquarian or a Pisces, you are in fact on the cusp of these signs. The cusps between the zodiac signs are both boundaries and transitions. They both separate and connect. You can see them as thresholds or movable screens, or like locks on a canal, places of transformation where energy is lowered or raised. In this piece we look at cusps as places in their own right, places that share or synthesize qualities of the signs on either side. We shall be looking at the inherent symbolism of the signs, their planetary rulerships, and their places in the solar year to evoke the meanings of these special times. Please note that the dates I have given are not exact. The cusp between two signs can be considered as extending 2 or 3 days before or after the given dates. The cusp of Cancer and Leo, 22nd of July, the mystical marriage of the sun and moon. Cancer is ruled by the moon, Leo by the sun. The cusp between Cancer and Leo is the alchemical marriage of the sun, male, and the moon, female. In Jungian psychology, it represents the integration of the male and female sides of the self. For alchemists in the Middle Ages, it represented the hieros gamos, the sacred marriage or the union of opposites, most often referring to a ritual union between a god and a goddess, or between a divine being and a human, such as a king. Those born when the sun is on this cusp are asked to strive for union within themselves. The cusp of Leo and Virgo, 22nd of August. The Sphinx. The Sphinx is a mythical beast with the body of a lion and the head of a woman. The most famous is the statue of the great Sphinx of Giza in Egypt. The Sphinx is an enigmatic being that speaks of wisdom that is beyond the human. The name is connected to the word sphincter, a tight band of muscle that controls entry and exit. In the ancient Greek story of Oedipus, the Sphinx was a monster that guarded a high mountain pass. Travellers would be asked a riddle. If they answered correctly, they could continue their journey. If they couldn't answer, or if they answered wrongly, they were hurled to their deaths. Those born at the cusp of Leo and Virgo are asked to face a challenge that brings out their inner wisdom. The cusp of Virgo and Libra, the equinox, 22nd of September. Balancing the books. The cusp between Virgo and Libra represents the moment that Virgo's harvest must be weighed on Libra's scales before it can be taken to market. Then the farmer knows what his assets are for the rest of the year. In many countries, schools and universities begin their year in this period. This goes back to the time when society was mostly agrarian, and everyone, including school children, were needed to help bring in the harvest. After the harvest was in, school could begin. Also around this time is Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement, a day of repentance and forgiveness. The cusp of Virgo and Libra is a time when books must be balanced, accounts reconciled, and sins forgiven. The cusp of Libra and Scorpio, 23rd of October. The naked lunch break. There are two ways of looking at this cusp. The moment when the beauty and exquisite sensation of Libra climaxes in absolute pleasure, and you have the scorpionic little death. This is the moment that tantric and Taoist practitioners strive for, to pause on the edge of the breaking wave, delaying release. The energy of this cusp can be described as transformation and rebalancing at the deepest possible level, beyond rational thought. The other way is described by Jack Kerouac, commenting on the title of the book by William Burroughs. The naked lunch is a frozen moment when everyone sees what is on the end of every fork. The cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius, 22nd of November, X-ray vision. Scorpio penetrates into the depths, while Sagittarius takes us out into the big picture. The cusp between Scorpio and Sagittarius combines Scorpio's depth with Sagittarian breadth of vision. This is a dangerous place to stand if you're afraid of the dark. It's also a lonely place because who can you share your vision with? Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the lord of the underworld, while Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the king of the gods. Together on this cusp they grant the power to see through the world of appearances to the archetypes that underlie reality. You don't want to know? Then don't look. If you want to use this ability, then make sure you're on the right side, for who will catch you should you fall? The cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn, 21st of December, the midwinter solstice. In the northern hemisphere this is the shortest day. The days have been getting shorter and shorter, and this is the 0 point, the point of endings and new beginnings. For the ancient Romans, this was the day of Sol Invictus, the unconquerable sun. For Christians, this point marks the redemption of humanity through the birth of Christ. Maybe of all the cusps, this is the most challenging and transformative. Having said that, a sense of humour is an absolute requirement here at the point of transformation of darkness into light, for life is too important to be taken seriously. The cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius, 20th of January, the cusp of time. Those born on this cusp hold time together. Capricorn's structures of the past meet the future vision of Aquarius. If you want to know about the future, you don't ask a scientist, you ask the artists, the poets, and the visionaries. They have no research grants to lose. Not only past and future are implicated here, but time and timelessness. Those born on this cusp partake of both the temporal and the eternal. They honour time and its demands, but are beyond it. To be aware that you have all the time in the world, and at the same time you only have this moment. The cusp of Aquarius and Pisces, 18th of February, towards the limits and beyond. Whatever structure was there is dissolved. Not so much the personal, but the collective reality that Aquarius accepts as given, the network, or rather the net that holds us in its ideas, assumptions, and fashions, is not torn, not broken, it is simply no longer there. What courage does it take to live this? Only the courage to be one's infinite self, beyond others' expectations and dramas. Aquarius dissolves into Pisces, and everything is possible. The cusp of Pisces and Aries, the equinox, 20th of March. The cusp of conception. Here at the equinox, the infinite self in Pisces is transformed into the ego of Aries. This is the window of conception, equivalent to the ascendant. In the Kabbalah, This is the moment of Shekhinah, where the nameless, transcendent spirit of Keter is manifest in the physical world of Malkut, appearing as the Sabbath bride, the moment of rest after the 6 days of creation, before the world begins again. The cusp of Aries and Taurus, 20th of April, turning to the world. This cusp is where the pure energy of Aries takes form, becomes embodied in the fixed earth sign of Taurus. With Austrian philosopher Wittgenstein, the world of ideas becomes a world of facts. With Russian politician and revolutionary Lenin, the theories of Marx became political action. With J.P. Morgan, American financier, the energy of money becomes manifest in projects which led to the growth of the USA as an economic power. With Elizabeth II, Queen of England, she came to embody the country after the turmoil of the abdication of her uncle and the death of her father. These world figures have transformed the pure energy of Aries into something tangible and real. The cusp of Taurus and Gemini, 21st of May, Masters of the Game. The realization that the world with all its physical attributes is just a game played out not just with ideas, but with the bits and pieces of life, the things that we use and discard. Those born on this cusp are the players of the glass bead game, the game that Hermann Hesse refers to in the book of that name. At its purest, the game is played for the sheer joy of bricolage, finding connections between things that transform their use or meaning. For others, it is a game that transforms culture and thought, a game played with lightness and suavity, but with utterly serious intent. The cusp of Gemini and Cancer, 21st of June, the midsummer solstice. The space of shared communication in Gemini becomes tribal consciousness in the sign of Cancer. Ideas have become an emotion, a collective sense of who we are, because this is the way we speak, this is our dialect, these are our customs. We don't even have to think about them, they just feel right to us. This is the solstice, the moment in the year that celebrates our belonging thanks to what we share. The days are longest, the light is at its strongest, but now is the turning point.
And for more astrological and spiritual musings, check out moonletter.co.uk.